Today we're going to dive into the Brow Chakra, which is the sixth portal. It's a highly spiritual chakra. It's where the masculine and feminine energies that overlap and intertwine as it's coming up through the spine, they become one here. So when the Brow Chakra is healthy, we stop being polarized by everything that goes on around us. So when we came into planet Earth to have a human experience, part of us, our soul knew that this is the planet where polarity happens. So we have light and darkness, day and night, warm and cold, good versus evil, and so on and so on. But what polarity does is it stresses our brain, so our brain literally goes like this, and we only ever see two options, and this is promoted in our culture and in school. You can either have this or that, or this is good, that's bad, and we are not trained to see like the millions, if not billions, of possibilities that the universe also supplies in between those two polarized options. So the powers that control humanity do this on purpose, because when our brain is polarized like this, we are in fight and flight, and our brain is put into a trance, and now we're open to receive all kinds of information that's not for our highest good. So connecting with your third eye and supporting it in every which way possible through meditation, stillness, eating well. The mineral boron is great for the third eye, and iodine, of course, having salt in your drinking water. All these go a long way to support the physical aspect of your third eye, which is the whole area a finger length into your skull here. Oh, here comes my cat. He wants to join into the third eye. So cats often can see things much clearer than we do, right? That's why the Egyptians loved cats, because, well, it's obvious that they're always astral traveling somewhere, aren't they? Because they're spending a lot of their time sleeping. So the third eye is your pineal gland and your pituitary gland, that whole section there, and it releases melatonin as well, so that you can have a good night's sleep. The third eye is really active between ages of 36 and 42, which is typically a time when people succumb to midlife crisis. And it's my personal belief that our subconscious mind can suppress the real self, including all our trauma and issues, for many years, usually for 40 years. It does a darn good job at suppressing our trauma, but after we turn 40, it gets harder and harder to keep the lid on the pressure cooker. And quite often we start to remember random things that happened in our childhood, like where we were mistreated or abused or traumatized, or family secrets suddenly make sense, or other painful memories. They are now being processed by the third eye. And before this actually happens, we can hit massive crisis, because you start to question everything, because there's so much unrest in the body before we get the real clarity. So you really benefit from working with all your chakra systems, including the third eye, from a young age. So children, they still see colors in the auras, and they often perceive many other things with their sixth sense, which is really your brow chakra. But for instance, one time I was at a hairdresser, and mommy was getting a hair done, and the little 3-year-old daughter was running around. And when she finished, when the mom was finished, she said, "What do you think of my hair?" And the little girl said, "Oh, I love that green, it's so nice." And then mom and the hairdresser said, "No, it's not green, it's like blonde," or whatever it was. And I thought to myself, well, there you go, this is how our third eye gets shut down. Because the girl was probably noticing a green color in either the hairdresser's aura or in the mom's aura, and maybe just a few hours of pampering had activated the green. Often when I have my eyebrows waxed or I go to my beauty therapist, she has really lovely energy. And when she's working, and it can be, you know, painful enough to have your hair plucked out, I often see beautiful purple swirls and green coming out of her hand. And I've also mentioned that to her, that she's a beautiful healer, but she's not really conscious of it and actually not even acknowledging it. But I do know that animals love her very much as well. So every time when we see each other, we exchange stories about our pets. So the third eye is your gateway to your higher intuition, spiritual clarity and insight. So this chakra enhances our ability to see beyond the material world and connect with the spiritual realms, including our own divine guides. It's connected to our ability to see with our mind's eye. It also helps us to see opportunities, get business, receive business models, ideas, new ideas for success or wealth before they even manifest in the physical world. So the brow chakra color is indigo, which is often connected to royalty or being king or queen, which is highly esteemed. Those families or used to be highly esteemed in the world. People used to look up to them. But ironically, our intuition is not highly esteemed at all. All aspects of the brow chakra are typically undervalued, poo-pooed, or dismissed in our modern world. We are taught to rely on external validation, external roots, external evidence, external research. The truth is, all the answers that you've ever looked for are already inside of you. And it's all about tuning in with your third eye. Your inner vision will guide you to divine success. Now, because the third eye is lying in the center of the midline, and we have a left brain hemisphere and a right brain hemisphere, and each hemisphere has a different function, there is often a disconnect between the two brain hemispheres, which causes us to not able to have that deep perspection or connection to our intuition as we were meant to have. In between the brain hemispheres is a little bridge, and it's called the corpus callosum. And it's a known fact that the corpus callosum is a lot thicker and more developed in women. That's why women's intuition is often kicks in a lot earlier before a man's intuition does. So one way we can strengthen the communication between our left and right brain hemisphere, which then helps us to feel calm and connected and like settles our brain, and we get the best of the analytical brain and the best of our big picture brain, is by doing practices where we cross the midline. So every time we cross over our midline of the body, we strengthen the corpus callosum and we strengthen our intuition. So one practice that I often do is just cross your hands like that and rest them gently on your heart center. Then you even get the benefit of your heart center as well. Remember the 40,000 neurons that are your higher brain cells. And now you can close your eyes for a minute and just see how deeply relaxing this is. This practice is also really great for calming down the nervous system. If children are angry or if they're fighting or they're out of sorts, you can strengthen their neurology by getting them to sit like this. Often they will forget what they were fighting about, but of course in a positive way. This practice, just sitting here, you can even cross your legs, really helps you to strengthen, to grow your corpus callosum, which is the bridge. And quite often the bridge is down because we have had so much stress and overwhelm. The bridge literally isn't functioning anymore, right? It's been eroded. So much information is flooding in every day as well. So literally floods take out the bridge. So this is one way you can repair it. And you can listen to beautiful music or sit under a tree and allow new neural pathways to form in your brain. because while we're in the body, our third eye, which is our highest spiritual instrument, you could say, other than the crown chakra, which is just outside our body, for us to get the full benefit, we have to entrain the instrument. Our body, our human vessel being the instrument. So by sitting like this and just breathing in through your nose and out through your breath and seeing royal blue and connecting with your own royalty, because you are royalty, you grow new neural pathways, and it only takes a couple of hours at a time to grow massive amount of new neural pathways. Many years ago, when all my children were little, we went on a holiday. So we were driving for 2 hours, and then we got to a camping ground, and we had like 6 hot children in the car. It was hot summer's day. We arrived at the camping with our trailer, and the camping owner showed us a spot that he had kept for us. Back in those days, decades ago, camping or caravan grounds used to be very, very busy, especially in this popular spot. And he took us to a place that was under a big shady tree. And I immediately could see disaster, like my third eye showed me a picture of tree branches dropping down on the tent. Basically, that's what I was seeing. And so I said, no, thank you very much. I don't really want to camp there. And then Pete and the owner and the kids, they were all, getting mad with me because they were tired, hungry and thirsty, and they wanted to set up the tent and play and so on. Anyway, the feeling that I had and the clarity that I had, there's no way that I could ignore it. Anyway, so in the end, there was so much resistance on both sides that I started crying, and then Pete and the camping owner gave in, and they took us to the outskirts of the caravan park to a spot that wasn't anywhere near as nice. But we went to sleep, and I think it was only a couple of nights later, there was a change in the weather and a storm came through, a big, strong, powerful gusts of wind. And the next morning, Pete got up early, went for a little walk, and when he came back, he said, I want to show you something. And so he took me to the spot where the big tree had stood. Well, it was still standing there, but literally what I'd seen had happened. So some of the really, really big bottom branches had dropped and were lying on the ground, exactly in the spot where 8 of us would have been sleeping in a tent without any protection. So that could have done our family great harm. So to this day, I am glad for that divine vision. I don't know if it was a premonition or whether I, manifested it, but I think it was a premonition. Mothers often have this hyperactive, what people call a hyperactive third eye, but I'm here to tell you to trust it. If you see something, you need to trust it. This goes for all the bad things in life, like dangers and threats, but also for the good things. Many successful business owners credit their third eye or their higher intuition for the success. And they often found answers and solutions when everyone long gave up. The solution would drop in often just before they go to sleep or on waking up, or strange enough when you go to the toilet. Many solutions are discovered when people are sitting on the toilet, and when the south gate opens up, that also allows the 2 brain hemispheres to suddenly talk to each other, and suddenly you can see the solution for a difficult problem. So many years ago, when I was in my late 30s, I had a vision of opening a little clinic in Forth, and nobody else was very keen on it. But I convinced Peter to sell his ute. He had a 4-wheel drive ute, and then he bought a cheap car to drive to work instead. And we saved that money and built a little clinic in our backyard. And we did most of the work ourselves, or we bartered with tradies and so on. And within a year, we had a little clinic built that consisted of 2 little rooms, like treatment rooms, and a reception area. And some of my children slept upstairs, because we have 6 children, and even this house, which is a big house, was a little bit too small. And so in the meantime, I had already studied as well. I studied in body therapies, and so I took action. And back in those days, we didn't have mobile phones. With the last bit of money, I advertised our clinic in the phone book and in the yellow pages, and then I simply had to wait for clients to rock up. So everyone was saying, oh, well, that's never going to work. See, it's not working, and so many negative comments that I got. But it didn't rock me at all, because I believed in me. I trusted in my God-given ideas. And I told you earlier, when the universe speaks to you, that means the universe trusts you, and the universe will give you the resources to turn it into a success. And so I never gave up on myself. And back in those days, I had just turned 40. I still had lots of little kids running around, but it all worked out. I started to see clients. The first client referred 5 more people, and within a very short period of time, Pete was able to resign from full-time nursing, and I started to employ other people. And within 5 years, we had grown a big team of people, and so on. You know the rest of the story. So always trust in your own, trust in your heart, trust in your divine insight, and trust into the vision that the universe gives you, that is probably looking right into your own future. Your third eye holds the key to accessing your inner wisdom. Your intuition is short for inner tutor, or your inner knowing, your inner healer, your inner instincts. So your third eye has the blueprint for wealth as well. So remember, the color is blue, and it has the blueprint for success, for wealth, for business solutions, and it helps you to operate at a level that's highly ethical, with integrity. Because of course, if you are not trusting your intuition, you could be dropping out of integrity or out of alignment with the universe. And then what happens, there will be too much static, and it's like the telephone line becomes blurry, and the voice of the divine or the universe becomes more and more distant. So you need to learn to trust your intuition, which is your God-given telephone line connection to the highest source of wisdom in the universe. And your intuition also needs to be able to trust you. So you can ask yourself, well, how trustworthy am I? So your intuition needs to know that when it talks to you, that you're not going to dismiss it. If we become dismissive, that's the fastest way to shut it down. And then secondly, your intuition needs to know that it can trust you with all these divine downloads, so that you're going to take action, and that you're going to operate with integrity. So for instance, when I had my accident, we lost a lot of money, because we had just taken out a double mortgage and bought a second property in Forth that we were renovating. But then I had my accident. I had a big accident where I was left for dead, basically, with 40 broken bones and internal bleeding and many other severe catastrophic injuries. And so Peter had also just given up his nursing job, so our income at that point was 0. We had a double mortgage and still 6 dependent children. And it would have been easy to give up. If we'd given up, we would have lost everything. And then secondly, it would have been easy perhaps to start skimping money from different places. So Peter and I, at that time, we also already had some employees. And Peter, we always made sure that we paid everyone on time, even if we had to go without. But during the course of our business lives, and we've had many businesses since then, we've often employed people who had worked in other places where their employers had withheld their pay at different times when times were tricky. But Peter and I, we always chose to do the right thing by our team. And it's important that the universe knows can trust you. And why can the universe trust us? Because we can trust the universe. Even if things are really tricky and there's nothing, your bank account looks like a disaster, the universe will always show up for you, and a solution will always come at the right time. And this means that you're operating in faith and not in fear. Because fear, of course, is false evidence appearing real. And you constantly have to remember that we're not living in a material world, even though it looks like it. Even the material world is 99.999% energy, which is spirit, which is really the divine essence that we're swimming in. If you're stuck, you can simply say to the universe, what am I not seeing yet? Is there something I'm not seeing yet? What's the next step I need to know regarding my financial peace or success or regarding my business? Please show it to me. Often blockages in the third eye are caused by fear, self-doubt, trauma, what you were modeled by your parents, by society, by the teachers, because like I said before, a strong connection to your third eye or reliance on your intuition is actively discouraged in our current world still, and it's definitely not something that's respected. So trusting in your intuition and developing it and having self-reflection and all of that is like you swimming against the tide, but it's so worth it. So just for a minute, I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes. Just close your eyes gently and become aware of an imaginary third eye. Your third eye is behind your natural human eyes and up a little bit. And the third eye, just make it a little bit bigger than the size of your natural eyes. Sometimes you might feel a little bit of pressure behind your forehead. And the interesting part about the third eye is that it only looks upward. It's always looking up. It can't look down apparently. So just visualize or imagine your third eye looking upwards. And now imagine beautiful cosmic energy flowing into your crown chakra, dropping into your third eye, and rejuvenating it, washing it with divine, radiant, cosmic light, washing out all the self-doubt, the debris, the stickiness from the outside world, the busyness, all the voices, all the outside influences. Just imagine your third eye taking a nice little relaxing bath in the divine cosmic energy as it comes flooding through your crown chakra into the third eye. Let it splash around a little bit, and when it's really crystal clear, you can say to your third eye, thank you for being my constant guide. Thank you for divine guidance. Thank you for my journey. Thank you for being my trusty GPS system. Thank you for showing me the way when I couldn't see it myself. Thank you for carrying me when I got stuck. I am trustworthy. You can trust me. And just say, I am open to clarity and clear divine guidance. Please show me. I receive messages from the universe. You can open your eyes again and connect with me on the screen. So another really fascinating thing about the third eye is that when our loved ones have passed over, so people who have died, and now they are living just on the other side of the veil or the curtain, they are always trying to communicate with us, and they're putting in effort to get through to us. And a lot of the time, and you can Google this, research will show it, our loved ones will connect with us through winged beings, because the third eye has an affinity for anything that has wings. So whether it's a bird, a little bird, a large bird, butterflies, and things in nature like that. So winged beings. But often when people die, I love we who are left behind with the heartbreak and so on, we often get comfort from our ancestors or those people who have passed over through bird life. So you will see an unusual bird will suddenly pop up. And I've had stories from my clients, like suddenly there was a peacock in the garden and they knew it was grandpa, or a strange bird will tap on your window. And it's a message for you. And the sooner you accept that message, even if you don't understand it, but just remain curious, they will keep talking to you. And this is not just talking, it's our part is listening. But we can also talk to them and ask them questions. I've had people who've lost a husband, and so the husband sometimes sends a signal through butterflies, even if it's completely in the middle of winter, there will suddenly be a butterfly. And it can also be like a normal bird that you see every day around you, and they suddenly start to behave really in a strange way. Like one time, Peter and I were sitting in our garden, and this tiny little wren nearly landed on our cat's back, as if it was going to ride the cat. And so we realized that it was somebody giving us a sign that everything is in harmony, and even a cat and a bird are living in harmony peacefully together, where our spirits go to that place where there is complete unity and the field of bliss, I call it. So I will talk about that a little bit more in the crown chakra. So just be aware that our third eye is designed to recognize signals and symptoms and signs from our loved ones who've passed over, and this brings us great comfort and courage, to deal with our grief and our loss. And to finish, I'm going to suggest you copy me, so just rub your hands together. We're activating our hand chakras. So each chakra, each palm of the hand has a chakra, and you can do that now. Our hand chakras are always activating, but I'm just showing you this so that you can experience it. And then I would like you to make a ball between your hands. And this ball contains the third eye chakra energy. And it's like a beautiful royal blue or indigo blue, right? So just feel that between your hands. Make it nice and strong. And you might feel tingly, you might feel cold, heat, resistance, a magnetic pull, or whatever you feel is fine. Even if you feel nothing, it's fine. Just trust the process. And so then, when you feel ready, you just gently push this ball of divine indigo blue into your third eye. And you welcome it with gratitude. And you can say something, I am open to receive divine guidance right now. So we do that again. All these practices are good to do 3 times. So now you feel the ball a lot easier already. Make it nice and strong and powerful and clear. And you can say things like, my intuition is clear. And then push it into your third eye. What it will do is it will remove toxins and anything that's blocking your third eye, so that your power of perception increases. So we'll just do it again. Make a beautiful indigo royal blue ball. And then push it into your third eye. There you go, thank you. So you get to enjoy the real truth. A lot of people have trouble discerning what's real or what isn't, and that's one of the reasons why we came to planet Earth in the first place, because it's a world where opposites exists. It's also a world where many illusions play out, and we can be misled so easily, and we've all been misled at different times. So don't beat yourself up and don't blame yourself. Just remain open and curious, and your intuition can be refreshed every day by doing the practices that we just did, and also working through the exercises in your workbook. Sit under a tree, look up at the sky, give yourself permission to look up Give yourself permission to connect with nature. Nature, of course, can't lie. It's always truthful, and that gives your third eye a chance to reset itself. Hope you found this interesting, and please go ahead and listen to the meditation. Bye for now.